pretty surprised as well. And really not as familiar with JD Vance compared to some of these other candidates that we've been talking about all of these months. There's been a lot of widespread speculation this last week, or really since the incident. We've also heard, possible inquiries about a unity ticket between even RFK Jr. and Trump. We also heard about Massey all of a sudden. So I was really surprised to hear about JD Vance. And I did a little bit of research. The first thing that really stood out to me, number one, he is the first millennial vice president, I believe, in U.S. history. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's definitely going to bring a freshness to the Republican Party that maybe we haven't seen before. A lot of people know him actually from a movie and a book that he put out. Connor, are you familiar with
Yes.
Hillbilly Elegy?
I have not read it, and funnily enough, I have a theory that nobody has ever actually read Hillbilly Elegy. You hear a bunch of people talk about it, but nobody can really tell you anything they learned from reading it. Everyone just is aware of its existence. But apparently it's, a memoir that Vance wrote about his life growing up, like poor, rural, just stories about his life as a average American before he got into politics. And I guess now everyone's going to have to go read that book because it's actually going to tell us who our potential vice president is.
Yes.
But it also got turned into a movie, and I think that's what more people have seen. More or less the same thing.
On Netflix, right? It got put out on
Yeah.
Netflix. So I'm definitely very excited to watch that. We did see Trump make his announcement actually on Truth Social. We can go ahead and pull up that slide. Kelly.
So he didn't announce at the convention. I'm sorry. I thought he announced at the convention. He announced on Truth Social
the first
prior to. Okay.
Correct.
Oh, that's right, because he didn't speak. It was a surprise when he showed up at the RNC. So I apologize for misspeaking earlier.
Yeah, no worries. So Trump did announce it on Truth Social. Obviously, this then got populated throughout Twitter and spread out all over there. However, at the RNC, they did announce him as the candidate after this had already gone out. And then they asked the crowd, if you agree, say aye. If you disagree, say nay. So they went through all of those formalities.
Did a single person say nay?
Not that I could hear.
I can't imagine.
Not that I
mean,
could
when I
hear.
watch Trump walk in there, it's like we've been in his presence. We went to the Turning Point USA event. It is, for some people, I'm not one of them, but for some people, it becomes an emotional, spiritual event. When Trump arrives into a building, that was pre-assassination.
Imagine now, yeah.
Yeah, now, it was like, I can't imagine being in that building and the amount of just I don't know, fandomism that was going on, because they love him, and now he's elevated to a different status, almost like saint status.
Imagine being the one person to say nay and everyone just turns their heads
Get
towards
Rick out of
you.
here. That guy's
Yeah. But one interesting thing, and a part of the reason why a lot of people are saying that this is a really bad choice for President Trump is because of the way that JD Vance has actually spoken about him in the past. And he was actually confronted about this recently. Kelly, we can go ahead and play this clip, please.
No, Senator, this is an evolution, and I know you've been asked about this before, about past comments that you've made about Donald Trump. You've said, I'm a never Trump guy, never liked him, terrible candidate, idiot if you voted for him, might be America's Hitler, might be a cynical a-hole, cultural heroine, noxious and reprehensible.
I was wrong about Donald Trump. I didn't think he was going to be a good president, Brett. He was a great president.
Yeah. So critics are essentially saying that really his priority isn't helping America or helping the president. It's the pursuit of power. And really, he just sees Trump as a vehicle to his ascension in accomplishing that. So for anyone who is looking for an authentic, candidate, they're saying that he's kind of like the antithesis to that. However, as we have seen, there are a lot of people that have changed their opinion of Trump since his initial term in 2016.
I'm one of them.
So,
I voted against him in 2020, and now I'm on the Trump train.
Choo
choo, motherfucker.
Let's go.
And let's say, and Amy, when it comes to people like JD Vance, and same thing with Rob, it's like I can't. I hate the Trump derangement syndrome people that are still experiencing it, but I cannot blame someone that swallowed the Kool-Aid that was so easily and forcefully jammed down their throats. Because if you didn't have a certain angle, if you didn't take a step back, you could have easily fell into that Trump hating world. There's multiple millions and millions of people that literally think this guy is Hitler. They didn't come up with that by themselves. They were taught. Nobody hated Trump. They were taught and told to hate him. So when it comes to JD Vance, like, and still, I can't wait to hear the rest, Amy. I don't know him enough to kind of be upset. I mean, some of his stuff that he said about Iran and stuff. But when it comes to that, I kind of like, you know what? He's seeing the light. You know, at least he's admitting that he hated him, and he's woken up.
Yeah, I agree. I think we can cut in some slack. Were you going to say something, Brandon?
Oh yeah, no. I just my most important issue these days is like whether or not you're a globalist or a nationalist, and he's a hardcore nationalist, and yeah, so I could get on board with him because of that.
Right.
And people I trust have a lot of good things to say about him. I saw that Tucker was really encouraged by it, and Alex Jones
We're
really
going to play a
encouraged by
clip
it.
at the end from
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson.
Right, and like
Brandon.
well, sorry, I know.
No, it's okay. You're good.
No, but and then like the people who are speaking against him, like that's also a big thing too. So like the fact that CNN's pissed off about Vance and like how he's going to be like a sophisticated nationalist that like can speak well and sell people on it. You know, that's something I can get behind.
Yeah, Brandon, I think that's exactly it. That's what's been kind of encouraging to me because, like, I think most of us, I don't know a ton about JD Vance. I just kind of know him by reputation a little bit. All the right people hate him.
Right.
Of course, they were going to freak out about whoever Trump picked because they're going to want to knock them down just like Trump. But I think they are lined up against Vance all on the same lines of, nationalist. He's more Trumpy than Trump. He's dangerous. He's going to, infuse the administration with dangerous rhetoric again. Yeah, of course, that all makes sense. All the right people are lined up against him. The only thing that makes me a little bit hesitant about him is that Trump likes him so much, because Trump's personnel picks are very hit or miss.
Yeah.
Look at the last guy who was in this position, Mike Pence.
Rat.
The absolute rat.
Yep.
But not just him. Look at Trump's cabinet positions. When he came into office, Jeff Sessions was his attorney general.
Yeah.
And look how quickly that flamed out.
You can say Michael Cohen. You
exactly.
can even say the Secret Service
Bill
people.
Barr that he propped up. He propped up Fauci for a while. Like all the people Trump endorses, it's extremely hit or miss whether they're actually going to be good.
Yeah.
But at least on Vance, I'm cautiously optimistic because it seems like he's made the right enemies and is in the right. He's at least a little bit over the target.
Well, my interpretation of the choice with Pence was the fact that he is more of the like on-brand version of conservatism, like old school conservative, evangelical Christian. He's all the right things to essentially reinstill that confidence in the old school Republicans that this will be a good ticket. Whereas now what it's signaling to me is he doesn't really care about appealing to that wing of the Republican Party anymore. He's very confident in his initiatives and what he's doing, that he is happy to have a vice president who actually emulates those things rather than finding ways that can counterbalance the initiatives that he wants to bring forward.
I want to put this in 3 buckets, separate buckets. Okay, how do I...
Quickly, those buckets have to be limited because we have 5 minutes and 2 more topics.
How do I feel? I feel like when you go there, you pass in front of McDonald's, you see a juicy, nice burger, and then your mom goes like, hey, we have McDonald's at home,
Yeah.
Like you will eat, whatever, it's going to be disappointing. Then he's very milquetoast, he's not going to push that radical change and cleanse this republic needs. He won't shake the grounds of the swamp. He won't be out there finding the people that need to be found. He won't be closing down any 3-letter agencies because he doesn't have it in him. And the other thing is the thing about consistency. He's the thing I know about him. He's changed, and he's changed a lot. And he changed his opinion. He changed his religion. He changed all these things. And when I put someone on the ticket, when I vote for someone, I want consistency. And he doesn't give me consistency right. Yet again, Trump endorsed, Tucker endorsed. I'm with it.
Yeah. Let's flick through these next slides really quickly. So this is apparently what actually caught the attention of Donald Trump Jr., who then began advocating for Vance's candidacy to his dad. This is back in 2021, I believe, because Vance was actually opposing NATO's enforced no-fly zone above Ukraine. So we can go ahead and play this.
What a no-fly zone, it sounds nice, like we asked the Russians not to fly planes over Ukraine. What it means in practice is American Marine Corps pilots, Air Force pilots, and Navy pilots getting in dogfights with Russian jets. which the problem with that is it's not in our vital national interest.
So that is apparently what caught the attention of Donald Trump Jr., who then took that to his father. I'm not sure if that's 100% true, but that's the word on the street. He was also one of the first people to publicly come out and condemn the Biden administration for the role they took with all of the propaganda and everything that they've been saying, put a bullseye on his back leading up to the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. So he also called that as well. That being said, do you guys think that he knew that he was going to be the candidate at that point already when he made the post on X?
What was that post?
I think the moment. I think so, Amy. But I also think the moment. Rob, was it a week or two ago, bro? Where it was? It might have been a week and a half, maybe two. It was a JD Vance Democratic campaign ad that's like JD Vance kills babies. It's like one of those horrible commercials. The moment I saw it, I go, why are they making a hate ad to Joe Biden administration going after him? That's the moment I went, they're going for JD Vance. And I the money was in the bank right there. I was like, why are they they're not doing it for Vivek Ramaswamy. He's brown and dangerous. We didn't see it.
Brown and
I know
dangerous.
I knew right then. Yeah.
Well, speaking of Vivek Ramaswamy, JD Vance and Vivek are actually old college buddies. The two of them and Vance's wife have all been friends apparently since they were in school together. Vance's wife is Indian, and funnily enough, one of their firstborn kids, I think, is named Vivek. So that's a interesting little.
Well, speaking of
crossing
Vivek,
there,
people are disappointed that Vivek wasn't the vice president pick, but I think Attorney General has to be Vivek. That's so much more of an important position, and he would crush it at that. Like, you need somebody who's aggressive and like knows what the target is and is going to go after it fearlessly. I don't think Vance would do that. Like, I think Vance is like a good, hype man, whatever. He could fill the role of vice president. Vivek will crush it as AG.
There's very clearly a hunger to put Vivek somewhere in the administration.
AG or
they're
bust.
talking about Attorney General. They floated him for Chief of Staff. Apparently, he's in talks to actually take Vance's seat in the Senate
Bleh.
for Ohio if Governor Mike DeWine names him the replacement. So we'll see how it goes. Vivek said he's open to a lot of that. He wants to see what the best fit is for him. But yesterday, Eric Trump, I think, actually just said, as a joke, after they had, named Vance and we're talking at the RNC, made some joke about, there's Vivek. I think he's my vice president for 2032. So if, Eric Trump decides to run, maybe we'll get another Trump Ramaswamy ticket.
Wow.
Could be interesting.
And Connor, just you saying that, bro, doesn't it feel good finally that the future of the Republican Party looks somewhat bright? I mean,
Yes.
JD Vance, young, Vivek, young, fire, energy, Matt Gaetz. We have a bunch, dude. It's not that dead old conservative Mike Pence freaking party of just warmongering rhinos. Some might say closet homosexual. It's you know what I mean? It's just I have a good feeling that, like, dude, good is overcoming and good is winning, and the future looks bright for us, man.
Well, then I guess
does.
it's a good thing we're out of time for my story today because
I think you're gonna have time for it. Let me know when Amy done?
I just wanted to really quick just run through a couple of pros that I see for him. Some critics are saying that other candidates could have had more appeal to minority voters, but one thing that we can say, and we can show this picture, Kelly, that having 3 biracial babies and an Indian wife pretty much takes out all of the ammunition from the left's argument that he is some, bigot, racist, things like this. So I think that that's definitely one thing in his favor. We can click over to the next slide. I love his stance on DEI. He calls it as he sees it. DEI is racism, plain and simple. It's time to outlaw it nationwide, starting with the federal government. And then finally, we'll go and we will play Tucker's clip at the RNC talking about why he thinks that JD is going to be a great candidate.
I learned. So now JD Vance is the VP pick, and I think every person who pays close attention has got to be thrilled by that. And if you don't know much about JD Vance, I'm not even going to make a case for JD Vance. I'm going to tell you what I just saw, which is that every bad person I've ever met in a lifetime in Washington was aligned against JD Vance. And I do think the negative case is often more powerful, because I know of myself, I do not think I'm a particularly good person. I have strong reasons for feeling that way. I don't always think that my side is right. I know for a fact I have been wrong many, many times. And I hope to correct and be honest about my error. So it's not like I think that, I'm always, God's always on my side. Sometimes I'm not on God's side. But I definitely know who's representing the other side. It's a lot easier to tell who the people who are only in it because they like, I don't know, killing other people in pointless wars. Like, I know who those people are. And their odor is so powerful that I can smell one when he walks in the room. And every single one of those people in a line that would extend from Milwaukee to Chicago was lined up over the last week to knife JD Vance. Not on personal grounds. I mean, he's a perfectly nice guy. He's like one of the only members of the Senate with a happy marriage.
So, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Says a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. And bro, just hanging out with him for the time that we were there, so articulate, his vernacular, dude. That guy has more books. You ever go to somebody's house and you see books and you're like, holy shit, I'm stupid. Yeah. That was it, bro. No, he knows what he's talking about, bro. And I love Tucker, and that's a great point. Like, hearing stuff like that makes me kind of start leaning towards, liking this guy.